Have you ever come across a picture of your favorite celebrity and thought, is that really them? From Linda Harrison with her wild, mesmerizing eyes, to Candice Bergen with her punk-inspired lips, to beauty icon Jane Seymour who made millions of hearts flutter. What are these glamorous silver screen beauties who dominated the 1970s and 1990s doing now? From sudden disappearances, mysterious current lives, to unrecognizable appearances. Subscribe and get ready for a thrilling journey as you discover how these stars have changed, for better or worse. The truth may leave you speechless. With just a glance, Kim Novak could make the entire 1960s hold its breath. Her icy face, half-dreamy, half-dangerous eyes, and regal blonde hair in Vertigo made her an ethereal sex symbol of classic cinema. But now at 91, that goddess is only a distant echo, her face distorted by plastic surgery, cheeks unnaturally tight, and lips puffed beyond recognition. Back in the day, Candice Bergen was the kind of woman every man wanted and every woman admired, elegant, sharp, and the very image of modern American class. With high cheekbones and a cool gaze, she was television royalty in the 70s and 80s. Now at 78, Candice has chosen not to chase youth through surgery, embracing her age with silver hair and the natural lines of time. She didn't need to say a single word in Planet of the Apes. Linda Harrison captivated audiences with primal beauty, fierce eyes, and a perfectly sculpted body. At 78, Nova has stepped away from the spotlight. Time has softened her features, leaving sagging skin and a smile that now feels like a fading memory. If England ever had a true fashion goddess, it was Jean Shrimpton. With her delicate frame, dreamy eyes, and timeless elegance, she wasn't just the first supermodel, she redefined minimal beauty. Now 81, Jean has retreated from fame, living quietly in a small hotel, her doll-like charm giving way to a silver-haired silhouette. She didn't follow conventional beauty. Geraldine enchanted cinema with her haunting eyes and mystical aura, an artistic inheritance from her father, the legendary Charlie Chaplin. But at 80, age spares no one, her cheeks jut out, her eyes have sunk, and her smile is faint, leaving behind a ghostly echo of a once enigmatic muse. Her signature gap-toothed smile, sun-kissed skin, and rebellious model vibe carried her from runways to movie screens with ease. At 80, Lauren is still unapologetically herself, though her face is marked by deep wrinkles, and her once bold figure has thinned with age. There was no other Wonder Woman in the 70s but Linda Carter. With a perfectly balanced figure, captivating eyes, and natural allure, she was both powerful and safe, an icon of feminine strength. At 72, she still stands tall and smiles graciously, though time has faded her flawless features, wrinkled skin, hollow cheeks, and dimmer eyes. No one moved like Julie Newmar. In her skin-tight Catwoman suit, she was a physical symphony, fluid, sultry, and fiercely feminine. Now 90, Julie walks slowly, her face pulled taut, and that playful, wide-eyed charm is buried beneath layers of makeup. More than just one of the most beautiful Bond girls, Jane Seymour won hearts with her emerald eyes, soft voice, and gracious charm. Remarkably, at 73, she still glows with youthful energy, bright skin, radiant smile, and elegant poise that defies time. Barbara Boucher was unmistakable, her impossibly small waist, seductive gaze, and flirtatious smile made her a visual obsession in Italian cinema of the 70s. But at 80, fans were shocked to see a swollen, stiff face, altered nose, and uneven lips, far from the sensual vision she once was. When you think of Dynasty, you think of Linda Evans' soft blonde curls, elegant nose, and eyes that could melt anyone. As Crystal, she was both gentle and sharp, the kind of woman everyone wanted by their side. Now at 81, Linda still makes occasional appearances, but her face appears frozen, with distorted features due to plastic surgery. From the very first moment she appeared in Dallas, Victoria Principal commanded attention, full bust, sun-kissed skin, and a voice as smooth as honey. She was one of the rare sexy intelligent icons of the 1980s. Today, at 74, Victoria lives in near seclusion, and her rare appearances reveal a face that's lost symmetry, unusually taut skin, and lifeless, wax-like eyes. One of the sweethearts of American comedy films, Beverly charmed with her sweet smile, puckered lips, and playful sex appeal. At 78, the once gentle beauty has changed drastically. Her face now appears swollen, her jawline coarse, and her hair oddly voluminous. Few portrayed sarcastic, stylish elegance like Joanna did in Absolutely Fabulous. High cheekbones, twinkling eyes, and that spoiled rich girl aura made her a staple of 1970s British glamour. Now at 78, Joanna is still active in the arts, but time has etched deep lines around her mouth, her neck has sagged, and her gaze often looks tired. With her dazed expression and delicate lips, Jennifer once stirred hearts in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Today, at 62, she's barely recognizable, her face now rounder, eyes sunken, deep wrinkles visible, and her skin uneven in tone. Who could forget Rebecca's icy gaze and raw sensuality in Risky Business? Her slim waist, wavy platinum hair, and commanding voice made her the perfect, seductive assassin. Now 64, Rebecca still appears at events, but her face seems oddly tight, cheeks puffy, lips stiff, and her eyes noticeably drooping. At just 14, she stunned the world with her mature beauty in the Blue Lagoon, long legs, bronzed skin, and eyes that mixed innocence with desire. Now at 58, she retains some of that charm, but her face has stiffened, her forehead appears unusually taut, and her smile is no longer symmetrical. With her baby-faced charm, soft voice, and signature vulnerability, Carol lit up the Poseidon Adventure, becoming one of cinema's most alluring disaster film stars. Toward the end of her life, fans were heartbroken by her appearance, a sad expression, hunched back, and distant eyes. She passed in 2019 at age 77. From scream queen to action heroine, Jamie Lee had the body, the sharp eyes, and the fearless energy. Her role in Trading Places put her on the map as a sexy actress with depth. At 65, Jamie embraces natural aging, meaning her face is visibly wrinkled, her hair completely gray, and her eyes have lost some spark. With a wild gaze and ethereal looks, Nastasia Kinski was the half-French, half-German flower who mesmerized viewers in Tess and Cat People. But after decades away from Hollywood, at 63, she now appears with a heavier face, widened jaw, and smaller eyes, the result of age and mild cosmetic work. Many can hardly believe she was once called Europe's most beautiful muse. Tall like a model, hair golden as sunshine, and dreamy eyes like a poem, Daryl Hannah embodied the real-life mermaid in Splash. But at 63, her current appearance surprises many, a face hardened by cosmetic procedures, tight forehead, stiff smile, and much of her once fragile aura lost. At just 15, Olivia Hussey became the world's Juliet, so breathtaking that people said her beauty could end wars. Porcelain skin, poetic sadness in her eyes, she was a living symbol of classic cinema. But life was not kind. Divorce, depression, and now at 73, she appears with a face marked by time, distant eyes, and a tired posture, like a Juliet who never got her happy ending. In the 80s, no one mixed sweet and sultry like Melanie Griffith. With her pouty lips, raspy voice, and explosive curves, she became a bold sex symbol. But after countless surgeries, at 66, her face is now swollen, asymmetrical, lips unusually full, and a visibly altered chin. Tall, intelligent, and fiercely graceful, Geena Davis wasn't just an actress, she was a national archery champion. In Thelma and Louise, she became a symbol of empowered sensuality. At 68, Geena still carries her powerful presence, but time has taken its toll, sagging skin, tired eyes, and a heavier jawline. The original Supergirl, with her angelic face, soft golden curls, and pure blue eyes, Helen Slater was a glowing dream in the early superhero era. But at 61, fans are often stunned at conventions. A fuller face, smile lines, dulled gaze, and a hunched stance, as if this angel has been earthbound too long. Baby, from Dirty Dancing, melted hearts with her signature nose, sparkling eyes, and shy smile. But Jennifer erased that image with a nose job that left fans unable to recognize her. At 64, she's made peace with herself, but her face no longer reflects the baby the world once knew. In Blade Runner, she was a sci-fi dream, cool and mysterious with cat-like eyes and bold red lips. Too perfect to be human. But scandal, addiction, and Hollywood's rejection dimmed her light. Now at 64, she reappears with a fuller body, sagging face, and a lost, wandering gaze, like a memory Hollywood tried to delete. The rebellious doll of Baby Doll, Carol Baker's soft pink skin and sensual innocence made her a conflicting sex symbol of the 50s and 60s. But with age came disappearance. At 92, she lives in seclusion, with a deeply wrinkled face, hollowed eyes, and fading clarity. An Italian Bond girl with razor-sharp allure, Luciana was the kind of woman who knew her power. With sultry eyes, vintage curves, and bold fashion, she was every spy's dream. Now at 87, she still attends fan events, but her face has changed completely. Sunken cheeks, crooked smile, bent nose, and significant hair loss. Her name alone evokes an era of pure beauty, beehive hair, pouty lips, and a gaze both innocent and wicked. Bardot was France's, and the world's, ultimate sex symbol. Today, at 89, she lives quietly in her villa, her appearance transformed, deep wrinkles, clouded eyes, thin frame, and disheveled hair. One poster in a fur bikini was enough to make Raquel an immortal sex symbol. With her fiery curves, impossibly tiny waist, and smoldering gaze, she defined 70s physical perfection. At 82, before her passing in 2023, she remains stunning, though in a surreal way, with a frozen face, swollen lips, and unnaturally high cheekbones. Elegant, aloof, and alluring in that distinctly French way, Catherine Deneuve was la reine du cinéma français. She never had to try to captivate, the camera melted for her. But at 80, her appearance reflects both resilience and wear. Sagging skin, a slightly asymmetrical jaw, deep necklines, and a quiet, melancholic grace. Jacqueline didn't need to show off. Her slow-burning eyes, gently tousled hair, and alluring shoulders were enough to stop time. In the deep, she became the ocean's dream. Now at 79, she still attends events, but the sea goddess has changed, her face sunken, skin loose, eyelids heavy, and her smile, more hesitant than inviting. The red flame of American cinema, Anne Margaret's fiery hair, provocative body, and screen-burning energy once rivaled Marilyn Monroe. But time is a colder flame. At 83, her once explosive beauty now rests beneath blotchy skin, subtly puffed cheeks, an uneven chin, and eyes that no longer blaze. She was the most dangerously alluring Bonnie in cinematic history, razor-sharp eyes, bullet-shaped lips, and a sculpted face full of attitude. That fierce elegance made her unforgettable. But pride comes at a cost. At 83, Faye's face is rigid with surgeries, misaligned mouth, altered nose, and a stiffness that masks the icon she once was. Julie's beauty was like winter sunlight, soft, distant, and heartbreakingly brilliant. In Dr. Zhivago, she didn't act, she existed. Now 83, she lives reclusively, untouched by surgery. That preserves her aura but reveals time's full toll. Tousled silver hair, deeply lined face, and a slightly hunched frame. In Rosemary's Baby, fragility wasn't acting, it was Mia's reality. Her haunted eyes, high cheekbones, and pixie haircut made her the face of innocence under siege. Now at 79, after personal tragedies, she appears worn, her presence faded, and her face nearly expressionless. With sharp features, velvet dark eyes, and a statuesque figure, Claudia was Italy's eternal siren of classic cinema. Her smile once shattered screens. But at 86, that smile is gone. Her face is rounder, cheeks sag, lips thinner, and her gaze speaks of longing, as if even she doubts that golden age ever truly belonged to her. Running in slow motion along the beach in 10. With braided hair and a flawless physique, Bo Derek became a global sex symbol. But time didn't slow down with her. At 67, she's still beloved, yet her taut face, smile lines, and waxy forehead remind us, even beach goddesses can't outrun age. With a smile as bright as sunlight and her iconic voluminous hair, Farrah once sent America into a frenzy with her red swimsuit poster. In Charlie's Angels, she was the angel made real. But in her final years, battling cancer, Farrah appeared frail, her frame thin, her eyes dim, her skin pale and tired. Unlike Farrah's fiery charm, Jaclyn Smith was the soft-spoken angel, graceful face, elegant presence, and eyes that quietly enchanted audiences. Her beauty was once described as sunset light flowing through silk. Now 78, Jaclyn remains poised, but time has begun to show. Her face appears taut, features less natural, and her eyes no longer glisten the way they used to. She needed no lines, just emerging from the sea in a white bikini in Dr. No was enough to make Ursula the most iconic Bond girl of all time. With razor-sharp features, wild eyes, and a flawless figure, she was a cinematic earthquake. At 88, now living quietly in Switzerland, her beauty is a shadow of the past, her face slackened, hair thinned, skin deeply lined. The most dangerous woman on TV, with endlessly long legs, a sly smile, and the presence of a woman who knew exactly how seductive she was. Policewoman was her stage, and Angie was the reason viewers couldn't look away. Now 92, she rarely appears in public, and when she does, only a fragile figure remains, her face deeply wrinkled and time-worn. "I'm Jeannie." That innocent yet flirty line from I Dream of Jeannie made Barbara a legend. Her golden hair, tiny waist, and cartoon-perfect smile were the dreams of a generation. Now, at 92, that Jeannie lives on in memory only, her features faded, eyes less lively, and the magic sparkle no longer quite there. Her vibrant energy, playful gaze, and fit figure made Goldie Hawn a burst of joy on screen. She wasn't just pretty, she made you feel happy just by being there. At 78, she's still the bubbly soul she's always been, but her face tells another story, wrinkled, subtly altered by light surgery, and less expressive than before. The TV version of The Avengers made Diana Rigg a legend. As Emma Peel, she was ice-cool, dangerously sexy, and sharp as a blade. With her aristocratic English presence and flawless figure, she was the thinking woman's dream. But in Game of Thrones, we saw the twilight years, her once stunning features softened, but her eyes still held that unshakable fire. A blend of German poise and Italian heat, Elka was a star of both cinema and the art of allure. Her oval face, large watery eyes, and lush lips made her a classic sex symbol. Now 83, that sultry image has given way to visible aging, sagging cheeks, a misaligned chin, deep wrinkles, and an obvious wig. A Swedish Bond girl with a sensual voice, sculpted figure, and a face straight out of Norse mythology. But chasing perfection came at a cost. At 81, Brit's public appearances show a stretched face, puffy cheeks, and swollen lips, leading many to whisper, "Is that really her?" In Heart to Heart, Stephanie was the epitome of refined allure, intelligent, composed, and quietly sexy. Her wavy hair, bright eyes, and welcoming smile made her the highlight of every episode. Now 81, Stephanie still attends events, but her face is almost unrecognizable, softened features, sagging skin, and expressions that no longer move with ease. Ginger from Gilligan's Island was the ultimate image of a fiery red-headed screen siren, flaming hair, sharp eyes, and a voluptuous figure. Tina Louise was the American dream in its golden age, a cooler, more aloof Marilyn of television. But now, at 90, her rare appearances leave fans stunned. A frozen face from surgery, oddly puffed cheeks, and a distant expression. Even her name was seductive. Tuesday Weld was the queen of the offbeat allure, dreamy eyes, pouty lips, and a fragile rebelliousness. She was the unpredictable muse of the Cincinnati Kid. At 80, she has retreated from the spotlight, living quietly. In candid photos, Her face has clearly collapsed, drooping jawline, sunken forehead, and a slower, heavier gait. With a smile like morning sunshine and a lively charm, Mary Tyler Moore became the face of independent, upbeat women through The Mary Tyler Moore Show. But in her final years, after health struggles and cosmetic procedures, she appeared with a stiff face, watery eyes, and an exhausted aura before passing in 2017 at age 80. One of the rare Asian stars of 1960s Hollywood, Nancy Kwan lit up the screen in the world of Susie Wong with her classic Eastern beauty, jet black hair, mysterious eyes, and graceful movements like a dancer. Now at 84, she still holds a calm elegance, but her looks have faded, sagging skin, deep-set eyes, sharp jawline, and a drooping neck. With her sweet expressions and doll-like charm, Marlowe became America's sitcom darling and that girl. She embodied joy, independence, and energy. But now at 86, her appearance shocks many fans. Overdone surgery has made her cheeks stiff, her forehead shiny, and lips overly plumped. Once cast opposite Elvis Presley, Dolores was called the silver screen's princess, with her pure, angelic beauty. But at 24, she gave it all up to become a nun. Now at 85, she exudes serenity, her face aged naturally, wrinkled skin, and kind eyes. She looks like a peaceful angel who found a higher calling beyond fame. The smart, sexy agent from Get Smart, tall, lightly curled brown hair, and a flirtatiously clever voice, Barbara was loved for both her looks and her quirky style. But at 91, she's rarely seen in public. Recent glimpses show a dramatically changed face, thin, sagging skin, cloudy eyes, and a faded mouthline. Diane, with her curly blonde hair, bombshell body, smoky eyes, and mischievous smile that said, "I know what you're thinking," was a 70s icon. But years of cosmetic surgery took a toll. At 87, she appears with a face tight with Botox, unnaturally high cheeks, stiff lips, and skewed expressions. She took the world's breath away emerging from the pool in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, the ultimate teenage fantasy with innocent eyes, silky dark hair, and a shy yet suggestive smile. But after leaving showbiz to raise her family, 61-year-old Phoebe now appears rounder, with a fuller face, dulled eyes, and a softer glow. She was once the queen of rom-coms, with tousled blonde curls, a girlish voice, and the charm of springtime in New York. But cosmetic surgery turned her image into a cautionary tale. At 62, she appears swollen, with uneven lips and an unusually pointed chin that barely resembles the sweetheart audiences adored. Her name alone felt like poetry. Tuesday Weld had a distant gaze, pouty lips, and a beauty that hinted at danger. In Looking for Mr. Goodbar, she was mesmerizing and terrifying all at once. But beyond the spotlight, Weld chose isolation. At 80, she appears only rarely, her face slightly swollen from cosmetic work, lips uneven, her expression vacant. With her golden tousled hair, angelic smile, and lovable tomboy charm, Elizabeth Shue stole hearts in The Karate Kid, Adventures in Babysitting, and Back to the Future 2. But that girl next door glow couldn't last forever. Now 60, she still looks radiant compared to many of her peers, but age has caught up, fine lines around her mouth, a softer jawline, and more reflective eyes. She looked like she'd stepped out of an oil painting, classic English beauty, porcelain skin, and clear blue eyes that captivated audiences into Sir, with Love. But now at 76, Judy appears tired, her face has sagged, her neck droops, and her once clear eyes seem clouded with time. Deep brown eyes, Mediterranean curves, and the unmatched power of Italian womanhood, Sophia Loren was a living goddess of the silver screen. Her silence was louder than most words. At 89, she remains a legend, but the years show, her face has thinned, her cheeks hollowed, her neck deeply lined, her gaze dimmed. Sharon was a rose that bloomed and fell too soon. Her doll-like beauty, dreamy expression, and radiant hair made her a vision in Valley of the Dolls. But fate was cruel. She was taken at 26 in the infamous Manson murders, forever frozen at the height of her beauty, never to age, never to fade. Regal, Sharp and fiercely glamorous, Joan Collins ruled dynasty with red lips, bold eyeliner, and unshakable elegance. She was the blueprint for a TV queen. But at 90, not even Joan could outpace time. Heavy makeup masks aging skin, her lips stiff, her face less expressive under thick layers. A wild, English beauty, Susan George's dreamy yet dangerous stare turned her into a sensual nightmare in Straw Dogs. Her allure was in the mystery, not the skin. But at 73, her rare appearances reveal swelling, uneven lips, and a face far from the magnetic youth she once was. They called her the girl with mist in her eyes. Lee Remick's purity made evil seem seductive in The Omen. With classic features, a soft voice, and graceful air, she was the epitome of effortless beauty. She died in 1991 at 55, her final photos showing a thin woman, with tired skin and a face deeply worn by time. The Austrian queen in Sissy, Romy had a sadness in her eyes that pierced through eras. She was Europe's elegant sorrow in human form, but her life was filled with grief. At 43, she passed away carrying the weight of unbearable loss, her face hollow, her soul visibly broken. With sleepy eyes, a sultry voice, and her iconic curves, Susan was the rebellious goddess of Thelma and Louise. She never followed the rules, her allure was uniquely hers, and the world loved her for it. At 77, she still graces red carpets, but age has marked her deep lines, hollow cheeks, heavy eyes. So many once stunning Hollywood stars now fade quietly into the shadows of time, or have changed so much they're barely recognizable. Are their careers still alive, or just distant echoes of the past? Who do you miss the most? Share your story in the comments, and don't forget to follow our channel for more captivating stories about the stars who once shaped the history of global entertainment.